I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it, guys. I'm not even going to go through that PowerPoint, I don't think there. So I'll share my screen, make sure I get the right one here. It's that one. Share. Can you let me know when you see my screen, guys?
We can see it.
Great. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us today. I'm going to try to go through and give you guys a pretty good overview of the entire product today. As was mentioned, please enter anything you need to in chat as far as questions or in the question and answer portion of that slide deck there. And we will get to them at the end of this presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to talk about construction management. It is Sage's operations side. It does interface with the three products, the Sage 100, Sage 300, and Intact. It is meant to give you a more elaborate project management experience in the program. It is 100% web-based. And I am logged into it right now. It's the screen you're looking at. When we log into the system, you're immediately greeted with things like alerts. On this page, I'll see everything that I'm responsible for, or anything I have to go into. If it's in a different color, it means I can drill into that actual record from here. It is a link when it's in a different color like this. Next to that, you'll see workflows. Workflows are the ability to go through approval processes in the system. And we can do that on a lot of other pieces. It could be on invoices, on purchase orders, on subcontracts, on contracts, whatever it may be that you'd kind of like to go through an approval process on, we can inside the system. Next to that, we have eSign. That is our DocuSign integration. You have a DocuSign license, you actually log into it through the system, and then it will actually allow you to send out things via DocuSign and track them. So if I go in here and I look at something like this, these are things that have been sent out, I will actually be able to see what's going on. You can see here that Harwood Adams has already completed it, but we're still waiting on Doug Moffett. So you're going to get that kind of information at this level. When we look over here at the top, we have a great search engine. I can search across everything in the system, including archive products, projects that are done. I can look through the linked files even through this search. Next to that, I have the ability to go into anything in the system and add anything I want from here. This is not specific to any one job. I log in and then it asks me what job I want to put it to. Then we're going to keep going over here, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the settings. Inside the settings of this system, this is what it looks like. We have the ability to go in and set up all the security. With the security, you can have multiple levels to it, the multi-factor authentication if you need to. But what we're doing is we're setting up different roles inside the system. And in those roles, we are telling it what it's allowed to do, select features, and it's just checkboxes, as you can see here. At the user level, we go in and we tell it what role that user has. We also have the ability inside this system to, if I click right here and take that off, you'll notice I can select the projects that person's allowed to see. If I have that checked, it sees them all. So we do have that ability to say you can only see these projects inside this system. Down below, templates. You can set up different templates for scopes, things like that. So as we're creating subcontracts, you can pull that scope into it instead of having to type it over and over again, make changes necessary to it on that specific document. Feature settings. This is where we're going to be able to make this product a little bit more yours. So as we look through here and we go to any one of these things, let's say correspondence, this is going to be issues and RFIs, things like that. If we scroll down here, here's the RFI priorities in the system. Here are the RFI reasons. If you don't like them, delete them. Add anything you want to it so that the wording, the look and feel of it is going to be more of your company's reasoning behind it. It makes it a little bit more user-friendly. These are the workflows. So remember I was saying that we can set up workflows in the system. So we can go in and do things, and I'll just show you how easy this is so everybody understands. If I was to go in here, I'm just going to call it Jim, just so we do something in here. And do I want it to be a part of the contract, so change order to the contract, change request, prime contract, prime invoice, or do we want it to be around subcontract and purchase order information? Maybe I want to do it on the sub invoice. And if I wanted to do it on two things, maybe it's on the sub invoice and all the other invoices. I want to go through the same process. I can do one for them all. But all you're doing is going through and saying how you want this to operate. So if the total is greater than $100, I want it to go through this process. Next. Great. What are the approvers? Well, I can go in and say, well, I want it to be, the PM, and then I want to add another approval. Do I want it to be sequential, or do I want it to be parallel? So we can do different things inside the system that way. We can tell it 3 days. Notice it's building it out for me. So as I go through here and I enter that, that is all there is to it. That will run it through that process every time now. So very easy to set these things up. E-sign, that is that DocuSign integration. So you sign into DocuSign and then you tell it the different things you want to be able to use that e-sign for. So really easy to set it up. Also within Sage Construction Management, it's a collaborative software. When I say collaborative, I mean I can communicate with my subcontractors, my other vendors, the architect, the owner within the system. They log in through a different site called TeamLink. So in TeamLink, we have a different level of security. We still set up roles, but inside that role, we define things all the way through. What is that role going to be allowed to see? And then you can say, well, they can only see things they're referenced on. Can they create something? So maybe you want them to be able to create an RFI. Great. It's really easy to get this stuff set up and get into the system. Alrighty. So couple of different things inside the system, also still within this settings. If you look through the feature settings and we look at time and expense, I do have timesheets in here that I can push through. But even further than that, if you look right here, do I want to be able to do time cards, and then do I want to do clock in, clock out? You can actually do a clock in and clock out through the system also. And if I do that, you'll see I can even do geofencing. So if you want to use this to enter time, you will be able to do that whether you're entering it through a timesheet or we're actually clocking in and clocking out. Either way, this system can handle it. All right, so now let's start looking at some of the actual pieces to this software. I'm going to start off, and we're just going to expand this menu, keep it like this so we can see the whole thing. When we look up here at the top, we have our contact management. This is going to be our Rolodex. So within the Rolodex, this is where I'm going to be able to see all my companies, contacts, and I'm just going to go in here and show you some companies. If I come in here and I go into, let's say, Adams Electric, I see more information. Can they be part of a bidders list? What's their address information, the contacts, what kind of licenses, insurance, those kind of things. We can track all through here. We can attach files inside here on this record. Up at the top, you'll also see that I can go to the vendor hub. The vendor hub is just going to give me more information about that vendor across all my projects. So if I scroll down here, you'll see that he has a PO on this project. He has a couple of different subcontracts, one on this one and one on this one. These are pending on this one. He has a couple of invoices that have come in. And yes, we can drill down into all of that information from here. I do have a lot of people ask how this gets set up. So I do want to go over here to the help real quick and just pop in right here. Whatever application you have, and if you want us to get this over to you, we can definitely do that. Right down here, I have my integration. And if I come right here to the accounting and ERP systems, you can see we integrate to lots of different things. I'm just going to pull up this one real quick. This is the 300. So we'll go integration overview. Here is the integration map for Sage 300. So you can see things like the cost codes come from Sage 300 and set themselves up in here. But if you look here at customers, vendors, those go both ways. So if I set it up inside of Sage 300, it would come back, or vice versa. And in the settings, we can tell which one's truly in charge, which one can overwrite the other one, those kind of things. But you can see there is a nice integration for Sage 300. Sage 100, just so you guys can see it on screen here. Here is the Sage 100 links. So you can see how this one's going. And the same thing is always true for the customers and vendors and all the good stuff there. And then for those of you that might be considering Sage Intacct, great integration at Sage Intacct, even deeper. And the thing you have to remember about Sage Intacct is, unlike the other two that use a integrator like an HH2, this one is integrated via APIs because Intacct is an open platform. So it's direct communication back and forth between the products. Close that and come back out here. So that is our contact management. Now, cost database. Yes, we can actually set up items inside the system, and we can do some basic budgeting, things like that. So if you want to get to this level where you're actually adding an item database to your system, great. The system can definitely handle that. Inside that item, if I go into it, you'll see I can put different information about what the material costs or labor costs are for that, and have those different pieces set up in the system. Leads. Leads are exactly what you think they are. We're thinking about doing this job, or somebody's asking me, you might be interested in this job, whatever it may be, we can track the leads. So I can come in, create a lead. On the lead, I can do stages, which you define, so you can just walk through the stages. We can start adding drawings, RFIs to the system, and tracking that information at a lead level. I can do invitation to bid through here. We can create the estimate in here. Now, when I'm going to go into an estimate, just so you can see something, one of the things I want to point out is I can import the estimate. But inside the system, we can break this down by locations, floors, buildings, things like that. Go in and look at this estimate. It looks like this. So we break it down by the different divisions. You're defining this information, so don't get worried that these aren't your divisions. And then we have the items. So here are all the items, and we can group them together any way we want. And you're literally grouping them together. I can go by code, by cost code only, whatever it is we need to do here. On these items, this is where we're going to actually tell it what that is. So as you can see, all those fields open up and let me put information in. So I'm tracking this information through the system. I can create those bid packages in the system. So what items are associated with this bid package? Who do I want to have bid on it? Have they responded yet or not? Are they bidding? Are they not bidding? What is actually going on? And then I could also do analysis against those bids. So when they start coming in by all the line items, I can see them. I can select the vendor. And you actually use this to create the subcontract on the job. So we can have that information in the system very easily. Once we get that level, that stage done, so now it's no longer a lead, either we won or lost it, hopefully we won them, we got to go to a project. So I'm going to go over here to projects, and I'm going to click right here, and you're going to see that I can convert that project from a lead. You do not have to do this lead process. We can start from scratch and create the project right here. So we have people that use this, we have people that don't, but it's up to you. It's part of the program. As we come in here, I can go in, I can see all my projects. Yes, you can add pictures and everything else. We can see high-level information right here. And then we can actually go into the job itself. This is the job screen. What appears on this screen is based on security permissions. But here I start getting some visual information around how many RFIs, things like that are out there. I can have my favorites here. Up here I have general information about the job. So just high level typed in information about the specific project. Next to that we have our linked files. So we're getting the information we need when we need it inside the system here. I'm going to go ahead and tag this, and hopefully I didn't just click too quickly through 3 different things. Apologize here. Well, my screen just refreshed. Hold on just a second here, everyone. There it goes. All right, so I wanted to come back this way. So we'll open up the project again, and inside the project, remember, we have everything we want to see here. So Coming down, I have everything turned on. It is a well laid out system. In the system, I can see everything that I need to do. So as we're looking across, I can see over here our quality control and safety. So we can go through, see all the different information. We can have checklists, safety incidents, the punch list items. If I go out here, I can see what's there. I can see who it's signed to, who's responsible for it, what description it is. All that is available at this level. When we are looking at this information, whatever it may be over here, maybe I'm going into my checklist, what shows up in these columns right here is always defined by you. So I can put more stuff or less stuff. Inside these different checklists, these are great because it's just things we're checking off while we're doing a job. These are just things I do. You know, when we start a new job, here's everything I want to make sure we have. You can assign it to people. They can come in and check them off. They are literally checklists. So we have all that capability. At the top of every one of these menus, right here. So you saw a second ago when I was over here in checklists. Even if I go all the way down, you can always go back this way. If I was to, instead of going to Project Home, click right here, which is the same thing as clicking that header, it gives you an overview of that entire section. So now I can see how many checklist items are out there, how many permits are out there, the punch list items, all at this screen. I also get some visual cues at this level. So you always have the ability to go to this level also. When we look at this software here, you can see that I am really well laid out with the quality and safety, my scheduling piece here. I have my documentation, which is going to be more internal information, things like my daily logs, photo logs, and then my external information, my correspondence, RFIs, submittals, all available here. We do have the ability to create schedules in the system. So if I go down here, I'll just pull up this schedule here. You can see I can do a Gantt chart. I can have my predecessors. I can do these kind of things inside the software. It is a decent scheduling software. It's probably just a little bit less than something like a Microsoft project, which, by the way, if you are using something like that, but you want to bring this schedule in here to share with your subcontractors, things like that, there is an integration with project into this schedule. So you do have that component also. When we come back over here and we talk about the different pieces, I'm just going to go ahead and go into a daily log. On this daily log, you can see I have all my information here. I can drill into one of these for you so you can see it. Here's how it looks. You have your general information. Then we can put in our activities for the day. I can track my weather and site conditions. It's easy as this. So it automatically brings it in via weather service, but I can change information. So we'll just add and close, and that's added. I can come down further. I can put in my subcontractors. So who was on the job that day? How many people were out there? How many hours were they out there? What were they doing? I can track all of that information. Coming back in. Coming down further. I can list any equipment we had out there, any materials that were sent, add all the visitors. Now, with these visitors, you know, OSHA, people like that, I can put all the information in here. If we are doing this and putting those different pieces in, I always have the ability to attach documents. So if they leave us behind one of those pretty little documents that like OSHA loves to leave us, we can attach it right here into the daily log. Coming back up, we'll go back out to our Project Home here and talk a little bit further through the system. So as I'm looking at different pieces inside the system, things like RFIs, point out a couple things to you here. I'm just going to open one of these up. So here's my RFI. What I like about this is you have your request. What are you asking? You have a suggestion by coordinator. So one of the things they used to ask me a lot when I was helping with the Sage 300 and the project management that was in Sage 300 was, is there a place we can actually tell the architect what he should say? And there was never a place for that. In here there is. So we can have all that different information. We can track who's responding to it, where it is, whose ball and court it is. We can link anything we want to this, drag and drop documents. It's all available to us here. The other thing I wanted to point out here is, let's say I got an answer and I needed more. in this product, I can actually create a follow-up RFI. So it's connected to the original RFI, but allows me to essentially come in and ask another question. So it really is a nice feature inside the system. Kind of operates a lot like a submittal would, right? If I got a submittal and I need to do that revise, resubmit, it does that same kind of concept. And you can see how we're tracking right here. So we will be able to do that. We will be able to get things like the responsible party, ball in court. It's all available for us right here. And we always have the ability to run reports. So if I come in here, you can see I can do it across multiple projects, a single project. I can say, show me submittal items by package, whatever it is we need to do. Plenty of reporting in here. The reports are clean and very easy to read. Go ahead and close that back down. And we'll come back into our project home. One of the things I want to point out is right over here, we have the ability to also create a project directory. In this project directory, this is everybody I'm dealing with. The subcontractors, architects, owners, everybody right here. I can invite them to something called the team link. Team link allows me to send out a invite, allows them to log in, create passwords, all that good stuff, and see information that I am sharing with them. So if I come up here right now, I'm just going to start a brand new tab. Actually, I think I have it open in this browser. There we go. Here is my team link. So when I log into Team Link, I only see the projects that I've been invited to. If I had a bid opportunity out there, let's just roll this way back like that and hit filter, and there's a bid opportunity. I could see I was invited to bid on this, and when I open it up and go into it, I can see drawings, I can see the package, and if I go into the package itself, I have the ability to come in and put what I'm bidding for each one of those things. So I can actually correspond the whole bid through here. Up at this level, when I come in and look at this information, so this is a job I've been invited to, I can see my drawings, I can see financial information, what I have out there, how much dollars am I still owed, things like that. I can see any photos that have been shared with me. Over here, if I go in and I pull up my drawings, I only see the most recent drawings here. So if there was 6 revisions to this drawing, this would be revision 6 that I'm looking at. So I always have the ability to get these. I can download them and do everything I want to from here. Down below, you can see I have my issues, my RFIs, things like that right here at this level. I can actually go in here and create an RFI. When I do this, I want to show you. It's coming to me, the owner of the product, not to the architect, not to an owner of the job or anything like that. He's able to create a change request, but it's got to go through me first. So I might just respond to him, or I might clean it up and forward it on to an architect. Anyway, it's then linked to where if it's responded to, he will get the response immediately also. So it really cleans it up and gives us a more direct line to the system. If we're going through and looking at some more information here, I'm just going to go back up to my projects. This is also where they'd be able to come in and enter an invoice. So they can come in right here and say, hey, I got this invoice. Sorry about that. And they can enter their invoice. Now, when I did that, notice what came up, my schedule of values. So they could come in and say, well, I'm billing $1,000 this week or this month, which would turn the percent complete different. Or they can come in here and say, well, I'm actually 98.5% complete. Well, then it's going to bill this much. And they can go save and next. And it's creating the invoice in the system for me. I can see now, hey, I have insurance that is needed to update. I can come down and see exactly where we are on this. I can come down here and I can add files. Maybe you want the hard copy. Maybe you want them to attach their release of lien. Whatever it may be, we can do that right here. So what just happened actually? Well, guess what? This invoice right here, this sub invoice on that job, on this 2018 job, it's already in the system. So if we go back over here into the program and I was to go back out to my project list and go into that 200118, this one right here, and go into subcontract invoices right there, that invoice is going to be here already. So already done, already in the system. I can resort. So there it is right there, the one I just entered. I could approve it from right here if I wanted to. But the thing I want to show you is an email just went out because I have in approval processes. So let's say you have an assistant or something like that inside the system. They can come in, they can look at this, they can see everything that was entered, they can see that they have all the documents and stuff, and they can go initiate. Now another email went out, right? An email went out to me, and it's going to ask me to come in and actually approve that document. So when that email goes out and I get it here in just a little while, I'll actually try to pull it up if it comes, because it kind of goes on the schedule. It'll probably come up in the next minute or two. But when it comes up, it'll have a link back into here to go right back to that document and get that information if I want to. And actually, there it is right there. I'm going to open it up. This is what came to me. So telling me what's out there, how much it was for. I could even approve or reject it from right here. I could go view document, and it'll take me to this page that I'm on right now. Also, when I log in, guys, and I go to my workflow, it's in my workflow now. Okay, so I've already got it here to approve if I'm the approver, and there it is right there. Right, so I could go right here and I could approve it. So that's multiple ways to approve it. Or I could go into it, review the whole thing, see all the pictures, see everything about it, right? Everything I want to do, and then I could approve it from inside the system. So I could go approve right here. It is a great approval process within this software, giving us all the abilities that we need. Put that back down, and I'm going to come back out into the job here and keep moving along. So we have all of our information. We're moving through the system. Now, if we look over here, you know, like I said, we have our drawings, and I didn't say this to you guys, so I want to put it here so you can see it. Yes, I can go into the drawings, and in the drawings I can annotate. I can draw on them. I can attach different information. I can link different information, RFIs, things like that in the system. This entire drawing log and its functionality is going to be greatly increased before the end of the year. They're actually rewriting the whole thing. A lot of people look at it and go, why? It's okay. Because they want it to be better. They want it to have all the functionality that any other drawing log out there has. So that is supposed to be out by November. And just as an FYI, Sage pretty much hits these marks with this product. If you look over here, I don't think I can see it here, but in case I can, I'm just going to go into that help menu real quick and show you something again. So within this product, we have a release every 2 months. That's how quickly they're enhancing this product. So some of it has to do with those integrations, and some of it has to do with other things, enhancements, things like that, but they are constantly upgrading this product. Come back down here. So let's keep going. I know we're going to run out of time pretty quickly here. I wanted to go over here and show you that we have the ability to do these different pieces. So I can set up a prime contract in the system. That's schedule of values. We can do change requests in the system and send them out, right? So I can go in here and I can send out this change request. Now, one of the things, this is good a place as any to do it. Let's do it right here. I'm going to go up here because I created this change request, and we're going to say I want to send this out. Now notice I can send this out lots of different ways, and you can create even more. I can have multiple templates. I can send it out via Word, or I can create it via Word, which I'm just going to do this real quick just so you can see what this change request might look like. So it's just going to pop up a preview for me. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, did I have it downloaded? I have it downloaded. Sorry. We'll just open it up real quick so you can see it. Dun, dun, dun. Pretty straightforward, you know, nice little change request. But the other thing I can do is, if you see right here, I can tell it to email it out via PDF, those kind of things. But right here, save PDF to linked files. When I do that, it's essentially writing that report, and it's going to link it inside of here for me. This is how the document DocuSign works. So here it is right here. I go right there and I say e-sign, and I tell it to initiate it. Here's how it's going to go. I'm a sign, or this one's a signer, this person's a signer, and I say send. I can have different documents. Essentially looks like this. Send document. It just sent out via DocuSign. That's the process for the DocuSign for anybody that was interested. So really easy to do that. We can have those change requests become change orders. Multiple change requests can become a change order. If you do that, what happens is when you bring them in, you can bring in multiple change requests. So I can go in here and say I want to add more, right? So I can bring them right in from the change request. And then it's actually going to show me all those lines. So all these came from change requests too. I can create this change order and send it out via DocuSign. But it does have that complete change order functionality in the system. Down below, you see I can do a prime invoice. Might as well just go ahead and do one for you. Let's say add manually. So it's automatically going to increment everything for me. It's telling me who it's going to get sent to. This is going to be number 10, right? I can go right here, save and next. I want to do it against the schedule of values. Do I want to do a retainage invoice? Here's my schedule of values. So now all I have to do is go line by line, say my current work that I want to bill is this amount, right? So I can say, hey, I want to bill $1,000 on that line. It's going to say, great, then you're that percent complete. No, I'm actually 42% complete. Well, then you're going to bill that much. So here I can go either way. You go add in next. Now it's the way I have mine set up. It's asking me, do you want to bill these change orders also? Because I had change orders out there, same concept. Come out, I've got the information here, right? It's all done. This is where I could print the report. I can do print out lien releases to go along with it. So I can do my lien release. I can also print, and you can have multiple types out here. And yes, you can create these different invoice formats, make them look any way you want. So this one is a variant on the AIA 702, 703. I think that's the one I pulled up. Yeah, it's a variant. So you can see how it's kind of lined up that same way. And then when we get to the back pages, almost exactly like one. So definitely can do that different functionality in the system. Come back out to Project Home here. Look through a couple more things real quick. I have the ability to do a job to date type functionality. So I can have my job to date cost come in. I can also do a field percent complete. So I can go in and I can go ahead and do the percent complete per line, and we can push this information into other products also. So I get that percent complete based on the project manager versus an actual analytic in the system. We have plenty of reports in this system. So when I come out and I start looking at different reports, and I'm going to come over here, you'll notice I have analytics and reports. Analytics, which are, you're going to go, well, those look a lot like reports. It's true, they do. I can run them lots of different ways here. I can run them across multiple projects or a single project. I can come down here and say, hey, let's do something around the job to date cost. Great. Do you want a dashboard or do you want reporting? Well, let's do a report. Let's do this committed cost to date overview type report. Report comes up just like this. We're going to go ahead and view this report. You can see they're very clean. Some of the things they just brought out, what did we want to be able to do? Well, if I hover over certain fields, you'll see that little finger show up, right? Well, that means that I can click on it and drill down to another level and see what type of transaction made that up. So you're getting drill down capabilities on these reports now. That just came out in one of the most recent releases. So very nice stuff. They are going to redo some of these dashboards and things, not because the data is bad. They just want to use newer technology and make them look cleaner and prettier. But you'll see when this dashboard comes up, it's got every bit of data that you want. It's got different things, right? So it's clean. You get all the information. Same thing with the drill down capabilities through here. So system is very complete today. Now those are that way. But if we come down and we look at reports, right? And I come in and I look at reporting categories. So maybe I want to do project-specific reports. And I can come through and I can say, I want them this way or that way. But I had somebody one day ask me about like daily log type reports. Well, here you go. Now, do you want to run it this way or that way? And here's all these different daily log reports. What they wanted was to be able to go in and get the manpower by company because they wanted to see how much a company did on a job. So here is that one inside the system. Now, I can start drilling into this, so I can go in and say, hey, I only want things that are associated with a certain contract or something like that. I could say, just show me a specific company, right? And I can really get to the information that I want. Of course, I picked a job that doesn't have anything on it. Oh, no, actually it does. Let's do this. Because all my stuff is old. That should be far enough. Hopefully. There you go. So now I can see what happened, who was out there, and why they did. So we do have all that kind of reporting in the system. The way that this system integrates, at least with Intact, is through the accounting link. And I'm hooked to Intact. That's why I say at least for Intact. So I get to set up posting in preferences. And in these posting preferences, remember I said who's in charge? So customers use the last modified. So I don't care if it was last modified in Intact or here, whatever was changed to, let's use that. But I could say, hey, Intact's in charge or CM's in charge. This is also where I go through and change different information. So what do I mean by that? If we look at things like job to date cost, well, I've got to link up, what the cost type ID is with a cost type in here. I have to be able to define what those different things are. How are things going to the different systems? How are they attached, right? GL account numbers, things like that across the board. So this is how we do it. Now, the way it actually works is like this. Nothing is just going to fly into your accounting system. We have a gatekeeper. So the gatekeeper comes in and goes like this, and here's 2 jobs that haven't gone over yet. Want to send them? Great, post. Now, I'm going to skip this, and you're going to see it fly through a bunch of stuff. But essentially, I get a page like this for every type of transaction. It'll stop when I get to time entries because I have a bunch of those. But you can see subcontracts, bills, invoices. They'd all show up here. Anything that hasn't been posted to the other system yet. Now it's bringing in all those time entries for me, the labor time cards, and it's going to show me everything. And I should probably post them all at some point in time. But I could go here and just say, do them all, post selected. That's what's going to make it go immediately into the accounting program. So nothing can get posted if it hasn't been approved yet and hasn't gone through this process. Now with that, I'm going to go ahead, and I know I showed you a ton of stuff in 40 minutes, but I'm going to open it up for some general questions.